Little did I know that Shadow of War would be Monolith's last game release ever. And it came out 8 years ago. February 25th, 2025, WB Games shut down the studio, canceled the Wonder Woman game they had in production, and I was shocked. And I kind of put off completing this game from the backlog after that announcement. Welcome to completion number 142 of the Potato Backlog Project. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the not owned by WB Games Tater Raider, and let's talk about Middle-earth Shadow of War. I finished Shadow of Mordor February 11th, released the video for it, loved the game, one of the funnest games I've played in years. The link for that video is in the description. I released that video February 22nd. 3 days later, the WB Games announcement came. They were closing Monolith Studios, and it was a shocking announcement in the games industry. Lots of gamers know how awesome the Nemesis system is, and I think everyone was excited to see what they could do with it inside their new Wonder Woman title. Despite the bad news, I still had Shadow of War to complete, but the feeling around it was weird for me now. Bittersweet, I guess, is the best term I could come up with to describe it. I was excited to see all of the improvements from Mordor to War. There was no way the game wouldn't be better than Shadow of Mordor, but playing through it, I found it hard to get and stay as hype as I probably should have been. I even put off starting it when I had originally planned to because of the news. I didn't want that to taint my playthrough experience. I guess I was still just bummed out that another uniquely fun idea in gaming is essentially dead for now, controlled by a giant corporation. Dead at least until the patent on the Nemesis system expires, or if WB Games just folds and sells off all their good stuff instead of closing all the studios and destroying everything. That being said, Shadow of War is good. Of course it's good. They took everything great that worked from the first game and made it better, and then added more on top of that. The core game mechanic additions and expansion of the Nemesis system are very well thought out. Everything again feels like it works together within itself. Like the first game, nothing feels wasted here. Upgrades feel meaningful, and they make you feel powerful. This was refreshing coming off my Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough, where the leveling system was just a disaster for me. I felt Shadow of War's story wasn't as strong as the first game, but it's good. More interesting if you know what happens in the main Lord of the Rings books and the movies, but it stands on its own here just fine. I probably just personally enjoy the revenge story a little bit rather than the fate of all Middle-earth is on the line story. The fate of that damn place always seems to be on the line. There are lots of collectible things and points on the map, little collectible items in each area that you can seek out. You don't have to engage in all of these, but they are easy skill point level ups, especially in the early game. It was kind of one of the weaker parts of the game because they're just there. You take over the tower in the area and then it makes you do a little search thing that reveals all of their locations. So it's just weak for me in that it's kind of lazy. There's just kind of points on the map that you can just go and pick that stuff up. But they did work some good lore stuff into the collectibles, and I guess they try to explain how they took a spider from the book and made her a super hot human that can change into a spider, or is it a spider that can change into a human, or is it all just happening in Talion's head? I don't know. I don't know. The first act of the game works as a reintroduction to how the game works. Gives you a taste of some of the new additions, and it's pretty short overall. You do have some of the base abilities you had at the end of the first game. Some of them, though, you have to unlock again, which I'm not a big fan of in sequels like this. There was enough cool new stuff, though, that I was able to let it slide. The Horizon games are a great example of crossing over abilities to the next game and not making you feel like you're unlocking all of the same stuff again. Shadow of War gets it like 50% right. Act 2 is the meat and potatoes of everything, and where you start to build up your orc army. Everything within the Nemesis system starts to open up for you as well. There are a ton of different things to do with the orcs in Shadow of War. There's a siege component to the game where you can take over different strongholds, and you build and power up your siege team as you see fit. The orcs under your control can now be powered up individually via training orders that you kind of pay for, like upgrades. You can do stuff like give them a mount, different types of weapons, and you can even buy levels for them. There is an online component as well where you could send them off to battle other players' orcs, I think. I wasn't able to test because the game is old and there was no one for me to send my orcs out against. Captains feel like they have much more depth this go around. Their uses are greatly expanded in Shadow of War, and a bunch of new and different things seem to be able to happen within the Nemesis systems itself. I had one of my captains save me at the last minute before I was gonna be killed. I guess he was my bodyguard, but I kind of forgot about it. I don't think I saw half the things that were possible in my 25-hour playthrough. You can also shame the higher level orcs, which will decrease their levels. They can betray you and go crazy. Behind the scenes, there are still constant power struggles between them. It'll be up to you to decide who you'll help and how you'll help your army level up so that you can conquer all the different areas of the game. The system's strength is that crazy things happen in your game depending on how things are going within your game. It's the type of stuff that gets you talking to your friends about the great experiences you've had. They won't always be the exact same stories, but if you know someone that's also played, they're gonna understand and relate and probably tell you some crazy things about their playthrough as well. It's an ingenious way to get people hooked into the game loop, and something I talk about a lot in my backlog videos. Memorable gaming moments. A game's core loop might not be that strong, but if you can give a player a unique experience, something that has them talking about it even after they turn off the game, then you created something extremely special and usually something that's gonna stand the test of time. The orc personalities in Shadow of War felt a little bit more lighthearted to me. It felt a little more jokey than the first game. Some of them were pretty funny though, and over the top in good ways.
Sure, you could kill me now, go the predictable route, but you're an original, a wild man. You could just let me go, and the other orcs would say, "Whoa, that ranger is a wild man. I fear him."
I did miss a little bit of that more serious tone that was in the first game. Like in the first game, you had Ratbag, who was kind of like the comedic relief orc, and that balanced out the bloodthirsty crazy one. In Shadow of War, it feels like there are a bunch of Ratbag personalities. It's not detrimental to the experience, but personally something I would have liked to see closer to what we got in the first game. It's the fate of Middle Earth on the line, after all, the whole world. It is extremely unfortunate that this is the last thing to come out of Monolith Studios. That's a total bummer, but I'm glad I had it in my backlog, and I'm glad I played through it now and not in another 8 years. It's an important piece of gaming history and a great reminder that giant corporations suck. 4 happy potato faces out of 5. I really wish we would have gotten that Wonder Woman title, just to see if they could perfect this system that they started in these 2 Lord of the Rings games. But with that, the Backlog Project rolls on. Be kind to yourselves and others that deserve it. We're on to the next one.